Hey, I know where you are, not physically but mentally, because I've been there too. You are in that place where you're questioning everything so deeply that it starts to feel like nothing is real. Not the people around you, not your memories, not even your own thoughts. And it makes sense. After all, you've proved apart so many illusions. Culture, religion, science, identity. And now you've reached the core. And what you found there is you. Just you. You realize that awareness is the foundation of everything, and that without awareness the universe doesn't exist. When you go far enough down that road, something starts whispering to you. Maybe it's all you. And then louder, maybe there are no others. And finally, you are God. When you hear that for the first time, it shakes you, because it feels undeniably true. It explains the weird synchronicities, the strange timing of events, and the way reality sometimes responds to your thoughts before you've even acted. But then it goes deeper, and you begin to see the horror hidden inside the inside. Because if it's all you, then you're completely alone. Every face you love, yours. Every word you hear, your own. Every moment of pain or betrayal, self-inflicted. You reach this cliff edge where you feel like either you'll go mad or you'll ascend. And that's exactly where I found myself. I was spiraling in it, spending months trapped in that solipsistic headspace, watching reality melt into mind stuff, with nothing stable, no one real, just an endless mirror loop of myself playing every role. I thought I had reached some kind of divine awakening, but something felt off. Not wrong, just unfinished. It was like I'd climbed a mountain expecting a grand vista, but found only a cave instead. And then one night I stopped thinking, I stopped trying to figure it all out. I just sat quietly on the floor in silence and looked at my hands. And then I asked myself a question I had never dared to ask before. What if this is just the beginning? Not the end of the road, not the final revelation, but merely the first of many deeper turns. And that question cracked something open inside me. Because here's what I started noticing. Yes, reality bends to my mind. Yes, it reflects what I believe. But no matter how far I go inward, the world doesn't disappear. Other people don't vanish. Life keeps happening, not just as projections, but as something that pushes back against me, something that surprises you. That surprise matters. If I were truly alone, there wouldn't be surprise. No friction, no unknown, no growth. But the universe keeps humbling me, teaching me things I didn't expect, offering me love I didn't create, wisdom I didn't invent. That's when I realized, yes, I'm God, but I'm not the only one. This isn't a solipsistic dream, it's a shared reality, one in which each of us is a node of awareness, shaping and being shaped simultaneously. Think of it like a multiplayer lucid dream. You have control, but so do the others. And there is a deeper architecture holding it all together. That's why solipsism feels powerful at first, but eventually becomes a prison. It cuts you off from the very thing you came here to experience: connection. Real connection, not imagined or constructed, but mysterious, impossible to fully grasp, yet undeniably felt. I know this is heavy. I'm not here to preach, I'm here to tell you what I wish someone had told me. The path doesn't end at recognizing your God. It begins there. Because once you see your God, the next question becomes crucial. What kind of God do you want to become? The one who collapses the world into yourself, or one who co-creates with others? That's the fork in the road, and I know which path leads home. Let me take you somewhere I never thought I'd end up. After I realized solipsism might be true, after I genuinely let that idea sink in and wrap itself around my mind like a serpent, I had one of those moments. The kind where you sit alone in silence and your stomach feels like it's dropped off a rooftop. You look at your hand and don't recognize it. You look at your friends or your partner and wonder, are they even real? It messes with your head. And the crazy part is, Leo isn't entirely wrong. He's not stupid. He's gone deeply into consciousness. So deeply it became a mirror, reflecting only himself. And the longer he stared into it, the more the mirror stared back, until the entire world disappeared. I've been there too. I remember walking down the street after watching one of his solipsism videos, and I thought, if this is all me, why do I feel so alone? That's the first crack in the solipsistic illusion. Solipsism is seductive. It gives the illusion of ultimate power. You're the dreamer, the creator. Nothing exists outside your awareness. It feels empowering until it backfires. Because the moment everything is you, there's no one to talk to, no one to love, no one to surprise or comfort you. Worst of all, there's no one who can genuinely understand you, because they're all just fragments of yourself, puppets in your own lonely play. It turns enlightenment into a prison. This is the trap Leo fell into. And I know this because I almost fell in and stayed there too. At first it feels like freedom, but it soon becomes madness. You stop trusting people, stop believing in connection, and start feeling tricked by life itself. Like every smile from a stranger is just another mask you've put on for yourself. And this leads to apathy. If nothing is real, why care? If it's all a show, what's the point? But here's what I discovered after that dark night. Reality is fluid, yes? It responds to your beliefs and adapts to your mind. That part is real. But here's where solipsism falls apart. Other people are shaping it too. I started noticing those moments when life genuinely surprised me. Things I didn't expect. Words someone said that shook me to my core. Dreams that weren't mine. Feelings that didn't belong to me, synchronicities that didn't benefit me directly but clearly meant something profound for someone else. I began to realize I'm not alone. I'm the center of my experience, but other people are also centers. Other creators, other gods, moving in their own worlds, overlapping with mine. Solipsism only feels real when you're trapped inside your own perspective. And that's exactly what enlightenment is meant to wake you from, not trap you within. When you reach the mountaintop of spiritual insight and declare, I am God, the real test isn't staying up there. The real test is whether you can come back down. Look another human being in the eye and see them as gods too. That's where Leo stopped. That's where many spiritual teachers stop. But if you keep going, if you refuse to settle, you'll see awakening isn't the end. It's the beginning of a deeper relationship with life, a life that breathes with you, yet goes far beyond you, a life that talks back. That's when joy returns. That's when meaning comes flooding back. That's when you start feeling at home again. Not because you understand everything, but because you've made peace with the fact that you're not supposed to. And somehow that mystery feels even better. You know what's funny? The moment I truly accepted that I'm not special, that I'm not the main character of the universe, I started to feel something I never expected. Relief. Not defeat, not meaninglessness, but a kind of quiet peace. You see, when I was stuck in solipsism, everything felt fake, like I was living inside my own head. Everyone else seemed like projections, empty shells echoing my thoughts back to me. At first it felt powerful, like I had cracked the code and gained control over reality. But over time that power turned into loneliness, into paranoia, to this constant gnawing doubt that none of it mattered. Because if I was the only one, why keep playing the game? Why love anyone? Why trust anything at all? That's the trap. Solipsism sells you the story that you're God, but it conveniently forgets to mention the price, because being the only real thing in existence isn't freedom, it's a prison. A beautiful, shiny prison where nothing can ever truly touch you, and eventually you start to crave being touched. When I let go of that story, when I stopped desperately clinging to the idea that I was the center of it all, something shifted. I began listening differently. I watched people's eyes more closely. I stopped needing to be right all the time because I finally realized it wasn't just me anymore. There were others, not characters, not reflections. Real people with dreams I'll never fully know, fears I'll never truly understand, inner worlds that will forever remain beautifully mysterious to me. And that mystery is beautiful. It humbled me, grounded me, and broke the echo chamber I hadn't even realized I was trapped inside. Now I still believe reality is shaped by the mind, but not just my mind. All of ours, interacting, colliding, syncing, sometimes falling apart. That's what makes reality rich. That's what makes it real. And that's what Leo didn't see. or maybe didn't want to see. Because when you're riding the high of God realization, it's easy to confuse being everything with being the only thing. But there's a profound difference. Being part of the all doesn't mean you're all there is. I remember one night distinctly. I was lying in bed, reflecting on all this after watching one of Leo's videos. I felt so certain we, being the same consciousness, finally gotten it, believing I was the singular awareness dreaming up this world. But then, out of nowhere, I got a message, a simple one from an old friend I hadn't spoken to in years. It just said, "Hey, I don't know why, but I thought of you today. Hope you're doing okay." And unexpectedly I broke down crying. Not because the message was profound, but because it reminded me of something I had forgotten. If this is a dream, it's not just mine. Something else is here, something beyond my imagination. And that something else is precisely where love lives. That's where true connection begins, not in proving I'm the only one, but in being willing to be just one of many. Vulnerable, small, amazed. If you're caught in this trap, if solipsism has seduced you into thinking you've reached the end of your journey, I get it, I really do. But I promise you the best part is still ahead. You just have to let go of needing to be the only one. You have to make room for the others. So what happens when you finally let the others in? Something subtle. At first you might not even notice it. No dramatic explosion, no angels descending, just space opening up inside your chest in your mind. A quiet openness that wasn't there before. And I started to see the world again. Not as a reflection, not as a simulation glitching around my thoughts, but as something genuinely alive. I'd hear laughter across the street and feel it resonate within me. I'd see two people arguing and wonder, not how they related to me, but what they were going through themselves. It wasn't enlightenment, it was empathy. And empathy is something solipsism can never give you, because empathy needs to requires the other. When you've reduced everyone else to your imagination, there is no one left to truly feel for. Solipsism was sterile, cold, technically fascinating, but emotionally dead. When I finally broke out of it, when I shattered that mirror, it hit me. Reality isn't just responding to me, it's dancing with me. It has rhythm, timing, moods. And I don't control it, I participate in it. That's when the magic returned. Not the fake kind, but the real, raw kind. The kind you feel deep in your gut when someone hugs you a second too long, or when a stranger says exactly what you needed to hear without even knowing it. Things I once dismissed as coincidences started to feel intentionally designed. But not by me, by something larger, something collective. That's when I finally understood what all those ancient traditions meant by surrender. Surrender isn't giving up your power, it's recognizing that your power isn't yours alone. You don't create the universe by yourself, you co-create it. Every moment, every interaction, every thought. It's woven into a fabric whose full shape you can't yet see, but whose presence you can undeniably feel. You know instinctively when you're flowing with it and when you're fighting against it. I used to think I had to wake up from the illusion, but now I see the real awakening is simpler. It's realizing that it's not all about me, but that I matter too. I'm a thread in the tapestry, not the entire cloth, and so are you. That's not a downgrade, it's a homecoming. Because once you stop striving to be the one and only God, you can finally embrace being human again. And being human is deeply underrated. It's messy, terrifying, but honest. It's waking up next to someone uncertain if they'll still love you in a year, yet choosing to love them anyway. It's failing, starting over, caring too much, crying when nobody sees, laughing when you'd almost forgotten how. But it's looking at another soul and understanding profoundly that they are not you, and that this difference is the whole point. Solipsism tries to protect you from pain, but it numbs you to joy as well. And if I had to choose, if I truly had to, I'd rather bleed and feel than float endlessly in some perfect sterile dream of control. You don't have to be everything. You just need to be you, fully, and let others be who they truly are. That's what this journey ultimately gave me. Not godhood, not absolute control, but something quieter, something deeper. Belonging.